Over the past 6 years, Abiy Ahmed's Oromo ultranationalist government has aggressively pursued its nationalist agenda, but the consequences have been nothing short of catastrophic. The world has stood as a silent witness to Ethiopia's tragic descent into devastation. Ethnic-based civil wars rage with no end in sight, and massacres have become a norm. Millions of lives have been brutally cut short with $30 billion worth of destruction. 72% of Ethiopians, 86 million people, are trapped in crushing poverty. 22 million rely on food aid just to survive. 6 million have been violently displaced, and 9 million children are out of school, their dreams shattered and futures stolen. By every measure, Ethiopia stands in ruins, its people bearing the unbearable weight of suffering and despair. Oromo politicians across the spectrum are united on core pillars of ultra-nationalist Oromo ideals. Both Jawar and Abiy support the idea of Oromo dominance in the Horn of Africa, which has strained relations with neighbouring countries like Somalia, Eritrea and Djibouti.
In the last few years, he's led 3 wars and now he's hinting at a 4th one. He's been drumming up tensions. This time with all of Ethiopia's neighbours. It started with his statements on the Red Sea. Abiy Ahmed wants...
Both of them advocate for ethnic federalism, government land ownership, and a constitution that favours ethnic-based politics, effectively denying individual and citizen rights. They view Ethiopia's Orthodox Christian community and Semitic groups, such as the Amharas, Gurages, and Tigrayans, collectively known as Habesha, as strategic adversaries to be weakened and dominated.
There are 2 governments in this country, the Kiro government and Abiy government.
Both Jawar and Abiy strongly support the annexation of multicultural, multi-ethnic historic cities like Addis Ababa, Moyale, Harar, and Dire Dawa into Oromo territory, even though the number of Oromos in those cities are less than 30%. The entire Oromo political class shares the belief that the Oromo people should hold dominant power across military, economic, security, cultural, political, and social spheres. Abiy Ahmed and Oromo Prosperity Party appointees, leveraging the full weight of the government, has been actively and aggressively working to impose Oromo culture, traditional religion, and language on 70% of non-Oromo Ethiopians. These efforts are often carried out through coercive means, violating 21st century democratic principles and human rights standards. Some Ethiopians see it as outright colonization.
I'm an expert. Kami di Amara Rati Oromo Mormende never. Uga jor manget. Uruba Oromo to kodu. Hayu Oromo.
Jawar Mohammed, an Oromo ultra-nationalist, activist, and owner and CEO of Oromia Media Network, OMN. He built a loyal following, with a vigilante group of supporters known as Kiros. The Kiru operates both openly and covertly as a vigilante youth group throughout Oromia. It is split into two factions, one backed and financed by Jawar Mohammed, and the other supported by Abiy Ahmed's party, previously known as the Oromo People's Democratic Organization. The Kiru youth have been implicated in crimes against humanity, targeting non-Oromo communities throughout the region.
Wamo! Wamo! Asgenne! Ijibanne! Pimpinne at Bilisom Siterrat Abomsa! Bumaya! Akame Digasim! Erro! Ejada Digara Nage to Erro! Kerro! Kerro Guyu! Kerro Saldo!
Since his rise to prominence in the early 2010s, Jawar's ultranationalist Oromo agenda has torn the nation apart. With over 2 million followers on Facebook, his disregard for established norms, religious values, and the social fabric of Ethiopia has caused lasting harm. His satellite media network, OMN, has played a crucial role in radicalizing Oromo youth, sowing deep distrust and hatred among Ethiopians. We intend to bring the international community's attention to Jawar and his media's decade-long involvement in inciting crimes against humanity, supported by evidence admissible in court. The legal grounds for prosecution under international law are firmly established. Article 2 of the Genocide Convention underscores his use of media to provoke violence against a specific ethnic group. Article 7 of the Rome Statute addresses systematic crimes such as murder, persecution, and extermination of civilians, with accountability tied to incitement. Article 8 highlights his facilitation of violence against non-combatants and the looting of property from targeted groups. Finally, Article 25 focuses on his support for criminal acts through logistical and moral assistance.
Are you Oromo first or Ethiopian first?
I am an Oromo first because to me Ethiopia first Ethiopia is imposed on me. Ethiopia out of Ethiopia, Oromia! Ethiopia out of Oromia! Ethiopia out of Oromia! Ethiopia out of Oromia!
At the place where I live, 99% of the people are Muslims. If anyone dares to say anything, we will hit him with machete.
A machete is like hitting someone with a punch. It's something that everyone carries around.
You need to understand one thing. We, Oromos, should not go to Ethiopian churches or mosques to worship. Even if we are 5 or 10, we need to build our own.
On national TV, they say they're playing Ethiopian music, but it's actually Amhara music. I go to Amhara media because I'm an expert, and they still need me. tomorrow and beyond. Do you know why I show up on their media? It's because Jawar, an Oromo son, he will be heard more than anyone else. The name Oromo will be honored. If you've noticed, I never argue with Oromos on Amhara media. I don't need to argue with my Oromo brother in someone else's home speaking their language. In fact, they invite me often, but I don't go. If the people in Addis Ababa want to challenge us, it just makes my job easier. Instead of traveling to every village to calm down the Kiru, I can simply tell them to finish the job.
Jawar played a pivotal role in organizing the 2014 to 2016 Oromo protests, collaborating with Abiy Ahmed, Abdullah, and the Oromo Democratic Party. This alliance helped bring down the Tigray-led government in 2018 and paving the way for Abiy Ahmed's rise to power and establish an exclusive Oromo government.
Ethiopia has a new leader. Abiy Ahmed is a member of the Oromo people.
He becomes the first ethnic Oromo to be Prime Minister.
He is the first Prime Minister from the Oromo tribe.
International journalist. An Oromo international journalist. I rather say that. Gumchala.
Dr. Abiy Ahmed. The Cairo, a local name for the youth, have huge expectations from the new leadership, are optimistic about the future.
Here is the chronological look at the way Jawar's hateful policies were rolled out in Ethiopia. After years of exile in the United States, Jawar Mohammed returned to Ethiopia on August 5, 2018.
This is our responsibility now. Yes,
The fate of the country is in our hands. It's our time. We shouldn't care about whoever is whining and complaining. We won't back down. With full force and strategic moves, we move forward.
On August 13th, just a week after Jawar Mohammed's arrival in Ethiopia, a welcome ceremony was held in Shashamane, Oromia. What followed was a brutal act of violence that sent shockwaves through the nation. A young boy, full of promise and innocence, was tortured, savagely killed, and hanged upside down by Jawar's Chiro vigilante groups. They suspected him of carrying a bomb, but nothing was found.
Wiped out from
The police and Jawar did not intervene.
This can be seen on YouTube.
The Abiy Oromo-led government openly aligned itself with Jawar, prioritizing efforts to conceal or downplay the crime. Their focus was protecting and defending Oromo reputation. Abiy government's failure to bring the perpetrators to justice marked a pivotal turning point. The nation had crossed a line. It was the beginning of a new era, one defined by mob justice, lawlessness, political assassinations, atrocities. Oromo politics is led by three figures, me, Abiy and Lema. They're terrified of our unity and are actively trying to pit us against each other. Even they are running campaigns against Abiy. On September 14th, 2018, in Burayu, a suburb of Addis Ababa, Oromo Chiro vigilante groups, radicalized by Jawar's media, launched violent attacks on non-Oromos. Innocent civilians were brutally killed. Homes and businesses were looted and set on fire as the attackers chanted, "Leave our land."
We start in Ethiopia, where more than a dozen people have been killed and hundreds have fled their homes following ethnic clashes on the outskirts of the capital, Addis Ababa. The worst affected areas are Burayu and Oromo. Local media are reporting that the attacks are highly organized, targeting ethnic Gamos, Wolayitas, Guragas and Siltes. The death toll isn't clear, but some reports say 15 bodies have been recovered so far.
Oromo Regional Police did not intervene. No efforts were made to de-escalate the situation. Once again, the Abiy government failed to hold those responsible accountable. Following weeks and months, no attempts were made to help the 15,000 displaced Ethiopians return to their homes. It was clear to everyone that this was calculated and deliberate to clear the city from Gala-Oromos. This tragic event set a dangerous new precedent.
Hundreds of people took to the streets of Addis Ababa to show their frustration. The protesters accused Oromo youth groups of targeting other minority ethnic groups. The inhabitants of Gamo and Amhara are attacked and thrown into the woods. We need peace. We need justice. They are raping our sisters. 5 people were killed during Monday's demonstration.
Social media post sparked protests and a wave of violence, reigniting a rivalry many thought had ended.
On October 22nd, Jawar Mohammed posted a chilling message on Facebook to his 2.3 million followers, claiming he was surrounded by unknown forces and implying that his life was in imminent danger. His vigilante groups, the Kiros, quickly seized on his message, blaming the usual suspects, Amharas and Orthodox Christians, without any evidence.
From hundreds of mostly young ethnic Oromo men, outside the home of the man they are calling their hero.
For years, Jawar and OMN painted Amharas and Orthodox Christians as enemies undeserving of life, and his followers, consumed by this indoctrination, acted on his hateful rhetoric. The aftermath was swift, brutal, and catastrophic. Violence erupted like wildfire across Oromo, triggering horrific ethnic and religious attacks. 90 Amhara and Orthodox Christians were killed, while their homes and businesses were looted, burned and destroyed. At this point, it's painfully clear to most Ethiopians that Abiy Ahmed's ruling party, Jawar Mohammed, and the Oromo Regional Administration are working hand in glove.
Violence erupted in Addis Ababa and other parts of the country. Abiy says 86 people were killed in late October.
On December 2018, the number of displaced Ethiopians had surged to 2.89 million, marking the largest number of new displacements globally at that time. On June 29, 2020, the assassination of renowned Oromo singer Hachalu Hundessa in a suburb of Addis Ababa sent shockwaves throughout Ethiopia. The tragedy quickly placed the lives of non-Oromos in Addis Ababa and across Oromo at significant risk. Jawar Mohammed was acutely aware of the volatile environment and the intense anger spreading throughout Oromo. Rather than working to calm tensions, he chose to let his media outlet, Oromo Media Network, OMN, broadcast inflammatory and hateful speeches live to 70 million people. OMN quickly became a potent platform for the dissemination of inflammatory rhetoric, airing raw, unfiltered speeches.
We have to lock their houses and burn them. If we block roads to Addis, Menzies and Gegele Arsi have no place to go. They have to be finished. Block the roads and not 1, 2, but in hundreds. Habeshas must die. Amharas need to be exterminated in our neighborhood. Non-Oromos, if they have different ideas from Oromos, we have to take measures against them.
Sida naftanya kana mo harree shiitiin dhufte harree shiitiin sirna naftanya kana ofirraa fonqolchu. Sida minilik. Piyaasatti dhannee wareegamuu barbaadnati.
Haqa Oromoof lubbuu isaa kenne. Hacaaluu Hundeessaa.
OMN allowed these hateful anti-Amhara talking points to air unchecked, unrestrained and unchallenged. As always, Amharas were singled out, despite the complete absence of any evidence. For the Oromo Kiro vigilante groups, the assassination of Hachalu presented a golden opportunity to kill, loot and burn. It became an open season on Amharas and Orthodox Christians. The Abiy government and Oromia police did little to protect civilians. In fact, many were directly involved in the violence. The deadly incitement resulted in the tragic death of 239 Amhara and Orthodox Christians. Many of them were subjected to horrific mutilation, lynching, beheading, and dismemberment. Pregnant women were not spared the violence, and Amhara and Orthodox homes and businesses were looted, burned, and destroyed.
We cannot show the graphic videos and photos here, but here are the voices of the survivors. A husband recounted the horrifying slaughter of his 8-month pregnant wife.
They told us Amhara children and Christian children will never be born here. Then they placed a machete on her neck and slaughtered her right in front of her children.
They tied him up, put a rope around his neck, and dragged him like an animal. Then they slaughtered him. They wouldn't even return his body to us. They burned his home, stole his cattle, and found him while we were in hiding. They killed him in front of us. I would rather they had slaughtered him than subjected him to the horrors they did. It was beyond what words can describe.
Local government officials were announcing using megaphone, "We will avenge Hachalu here, not in Gondar or Gojam. Kill them all."
The destruction of historical landmarks followed, with the toppling of the Haile Selassie statue in London and the Ras Makonnen statue in Harar. The Abiy government, Jawar, OMN, Kero, and local members of the Oromo Prosperity Party participated directly or indirectly on the massacres. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, EHRC, later concluded that these violent acts amounted to crimes against humanity. The investigation by the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, EHRC, found that the violence were over 40 localities in Oromia, spanning 3 days. Large groups of armed individuals used weapons such as knives, stones, flammables, electric cables, sticks, axes, and machetes to inflict horrific violence, including beatings, torture, beheadings. A member of the Oromo Prosperity Party hastily announced that the suspects had been apprehended and they spoke Tigrinya. It was implied that the Tigrayans were responsible for his death. It is now widely believed that the assassination was carried out by the Oromo Liberation Army agents due to personal conflict with Hachalu. The violence was not a spontaneous outburst of anger following the singer's death, but rather a well-coordinated effort to target specific groups. From 2010 to 2018, Jawar Mohammed operated from the United States. From 2018 onward, physically present in Ethiopia and travelling across the country to packed halls, he launched an aggressive campaign against Amharas and Orthodox Christians. His propaganda machine, OMN, became the epicenter of this vile campaign. even stooping so low as to manipulate discontented Oromo priests into pushing for the fragmentation of the millennia-old Ethiopian Orthodox Church along ethnic lines.
Orthodox Tawahido keessatti amantiin keenya tokko ta'ullee qaamni tokkichi kutaalee qaamaa gargar ta'an waan
He orchestrated the seizure of properties owned by other ethnic groups in Oromia.
Jirtu! Haadha ishee jirtu! Qoyyee bachees taate kan galaan kan sabbataas taate kan tullu diimtu kan boolee arranya irratti bidana guutu.
The Oromo Media Network, OMN, launched a many unforgivable campaign of incitement against Amhara private citizens, publishing the names of civil servants and business people. This was no accident. It was a calculated, deliberate effort to intimidate, isolate, and vilify Amharas. By spreading the venomous lie that Amharas dominate every sector, OMN fanned the flames of hatred, encouraging calls for their firing, imprisonment, and even their deaths. Abiy Ahmed and the ruling Oromo Prosperity Party stood firmly behind Jawar's agenda, lending their full support. Within a year or two, they methodically executed every element of his strategy, turning his rhetoric into reality.
A set of Oromo archbishops and bishops who broke away from the Orthodox Church, and then the Oromo regional government was actually helping those breakaway bishops essentially take over the Orthodox Church and put their...
Jawar has contributed a lot for the current chaos in Ethiopia. He has contributed to those who were killed, he contributed to those displaced, and he has contributed to the current crisis. If he doesn't regret, who would regret?
Abiy Ahmed and Jawar Mohammed have waged an unprecedented war against what they refer to as Oromo strategic enemies, specifically targeting Amharas and Orthodox Christians. As shown in the video, Jawar has repeatedly used his media platform to incite violence, leading to the loss of countless lives. There is a direct connection between his rhetoric, the media he controls, and the ethnic cleansing and massacres that followed. His hands are stained with blood. When the time comes, he must be held accountable and brought to justice.
More than 200 people have reportedly been killed in Ethiopia in an attack in the Oromia region. Witnesses say the victims belong to the Amhara ethnic group, the Oromo Liberation Army.
We will plant trees in the areas where people have been murdered. At least the victims will have shade.